Take my lips and speak with them. Take our minds and think with them. Take our hearts and set them on fire with love for you and all your creation. Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated. How many of you went to a church camp or remember Sunday school songs? I'm trying to remember the tune and it's blanking on me now. They will know we are Christians by our love. They will know we are Christians by our love. They will know we are Christians by our love, by our love. They will know we are Christians by our love, by our love. Isn't that what he just said? No. Jesus? Wow. It's such a simple little message, too. You know, we sang it as children, and maybe we held hands or we danced around or something. And it's a hard message, particularly in our day where hate and fear seem so much easier to come by, so much easier to live into than loving as Jesus loved. Do you notice in this passage that there's no qualifier? It doesn't say, love these kinds of people, or just love those who are following. It says, love as I have loved you. Whew, that's a tall order. And it would reveal that picture of the city of peace, Jerusalem, that John of Patmos reveals to us, or was revealed to him in the book of Revelation. I saw coming down from heaven a place where every tear will be wiped away. Everybody gets to be there. One of the commentators referred to it as Jerusalem, the city of peace on steroids. John's imagery, John of Patmos, that is, which is different than the John of our gospel writing today, is pretty spectacular. Some rose-colored glasses, some psychedelics, something to enhance. But wow, what a mystical experience that must have been. A mystical experience that we also hear about in the Acts. And I think I talked a few weeks ago with you about, has anybody ever had a mystical experience when you felt God has spoken to you or the Spirit has given you a message you didn't expect? Peter got that. Peter, remember his name, Petrus, the rock on which the church would be built. Peter, who gets this sheet in a vision coming down with animals all over it and being told, kill and eat. And Peter saying, no, I can't do that. Those ones are unclean. And the voice from God saying, what I created is clean. Don't make distinctions. Love as I have loved you. Yesterday was a beautiful day. Amy's son was confirmed among 5 others, and we received one of our own here into the Episcopal Church also. I served as the bishop's chaplain. Standing next to her in that moment was a mystical experience for me. I'm holding the book and telling her what to, showing with my finger which one she's reading. Is it reaffirmation, confirmation, reception? And I hear these words over and over, 50-some people probably. And I got goosebumps and tears every single time. Because that love, that city of peace was happening in that moment. That place, watching the faces of the family members who were laying on hands with the bishop was a beautiful thing. I felt blessed to have been there, to have had that sense of love and sense of commitment to faith. Not just by the confirmands and those being received or reaffirmed, but by the families who supported them, the churches like you who supported our young people in this way. And in her message to the confirmands, but I think it was to all of us, she said, I want you to walk away with 2 things. You are good, And your faith is transforming the world. So, to me, I'm going to connect that to Peter's image about everything being created is good. And we have this problem, she said, in our world, that we want to be gooder. We want to be better. We want to be the best. We want to be magnificent. But if we think back to Genesis, when God created everything, what did God say?
It's good.
It is good. It isn't the best, the greatest. It is good. And everything that God created, in all of its diversity, she reminded us yesterday, all of the different gifts that each of us bring to the ministries and the families and the communities we're part of, is good. And so Peter, in that vision, was told, don't make distinctions. And then look what happens. He ends up in this other community where the outsiders, people from Caesarea, come down to him and take him to another place, and there's some more outsiders. The line is interesting. It says, these 6 people also. Well, who were those 6 people? It didn't say. We got to do some research. But I'm guessing they were outsiders also. Outsiders with quotes around it, because here we're being revealed a whole different message. Love as I have loved you. You are good. We are good. Each one of us in our own gifts is good. And each one of us who shows up here and shows up to work and shows up to a friend's bedside who's sick, to a friend's party who's celebrating, is good and faithful. And it's that faithfulness and that goodness that's going to transform this world. It's that love that we carry in our hearts that we show to others and show to the world that's going to transform the world. James, did you listen to On Being this morning?
I did.
Yeah. I'm driving here and going, wow, these guys have my sermon. Love is what's going to transform this. If we stop making these barriers, if we love as Jesus loved, the world will be that city of peace where every tear is wiped away. No one's thirsty, no one's hungry, no one's homeless. Everybody knows they're loved. So how do we get there? Right? That's the hard question. So John said to me yesterday that, I don't forget where he got it, but he wants to start a new thing. That somebody, he read somewhere, challenged that if we were to start every day with the people closest to us and say, oh gosh, now I've forgotten it. I'm glad you exist. I'm glad you exist. Say that to the people closest to you and see how it transforms you and transform your heart. And also, maybe try saying that to people you don't know. Maybe just in your mind. But looking at somebody at the grocery store whom you don't know. The checkout person. The guy giving gas, putting gas in your car. I'm glad you exist. Transform the world with that kind of love. And it might be a place where those birds we hear singing sing all the time. Zippity-doo-dah. Suddenly that image of that movie came to mind with the bird on his finger. But wow, that's that Jerusalem, that city of peace. We are called to live into the goodness that God created in each one of us. To show up with our faith and share that love. And that's all we have to do to transform the world. Imagine if everybody lived that way. It's wonderful. Yes, it would be amazing. It would be that vision that John gave us in Revelation. Wow. Every tear wiped away. So, each one of us is challenged, me too, to be transformed today, to be the light of Christ in the world, the love of God to everybody. Even the people who cut us off when we're driving, or take something that we wanted to have, whatever that might be. Break down the hate, break down the fear, and just live in the abundance of God's love. Will you do that with me? Amen.